Hi, I'm Tom Burke, Senior Financial Editor for IHS Herald. We're here at our Pacesetters Energy Conference. And we're delighted today to be joined by Abby Badwi, President and CEO of Bankers Petroleum. Abby, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us today.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Bankers Petroleum has been one company that's the focus of a new research initiative we've done here at Herald called our Horizon Project, where we're looking at some of the smaller E&P companies around the world and trying to identify for our clients, which include large oil companies and financing sources, the best and most innovative companies that are working around the globe today. You stand out, and the reason that your company stands out is your sort of application of modern technology to an older heavy oil field in Albania. Can you talk a little bit about the technologies that you've applied there?
It's really simple. I mean, it's not complicated. The field, the Patos Marinza field itself, was discovered back in the late 30s, early 40s. It's been developed by Italians, Russians, Chinese, and including Albanian national oil companies. The technologies used was basically development drilling, infill drilling, 5-acre spacing, 10-acre spacing, utilizing beam pumps, pump jacks. The formation is deeper, it's about 2,000 meters, so the technology itself basically did not allow them to produce well productivity remained within 5 to 10 barrels per day. It's heavy oil, it's 10.5 degree API. What we have done different is we pulled the old equipment out from the existing well bores and we run progressive cavity pumps. This technology has been applied for many years in Western Canada and North America. And basically what it does, you can now drop the pump right to the perforating zone. So you have a lot of column fluid above the pump. And we can get production from the well to reach 35, 40 barrels per day. Some of them do 60, 70 barrels per day. And the longer you produce the well with this technology, you start creating some wormhole structures within the formation, which brings more volume of fluids into the well bore, and hence you can speed up the pump and increase your productivity. So that's the first technology we used in there, and it proved to be very successful.
And what was your production growth using that technology?
So we went, when we take the field over in segments, so we take them sort of well by well or group of wells. We take these wells from Alpetrol, the national oil company, and we have taken to date about 400 wells. From those 400, 300 wells had successful reactivation. The reason 100 did not work is we had some mechanical problem, well bore problems, not technology problem. So the 300 wells that we have taken over, we took the production from 200, 300 barrels per day up to 5,000, 6,000 barrels per day. And we still have another 400, 500 wells to take over the next 2 or 3 years.
So the plan for the next 2 or 3 years in this thing is to apply the same technology, gradually taking over these wells and applying the same technology to those fields.
Correct.
So when we look for production, you're looking for production to have the same response that you did in the initial...
In the initial phase of development, which is continuing. It's an ongoing process. There are 2,400 wells in the field. Probably about 1,000 will be accessible of these wells. So you can see that our production from reactivation of old well bores can get us up into the 10, 15, 20,000 barrels per day just utilizing this technology.
Well, that's terrific. So let's talk about your strategy a little longer term at this thing. Do you have any plans to expand in Albania or to apply this technique to other areas in the former Soviet Union, other kinds of fields?
No, we will remain focused on Albania. And first of all, this technology was our first phase. What we're doing second, of course, now is horizontal drilling. And that has not been applied at all. We drilled the first horizontal well in Albania last year. The well has been on production now for 9 months. It produced in excess of 40,000 barrels in 9 months. Production from the well is 150 barrels per day. We drilled the second horizontal well. It's producing in excess of 200 barrels per day. Since then, we have 6 wells now that have been drilled. We didn't announce results of those wells yet, but we will here shortly. But we're planning on drilling hundreds of horizontal wells. So not only we're going to be increasing our production from reactivating the old wells, but we found that drilling horizontal wells between the existing well bores and on the outside to the north and to the west of the field, we can get incremental production, but also incremental reserves. So horizontal drilling, which is again a new technology, is working very well for us. And then the third part of our plans is to go thermal. And it's putting steam into the formation to, again, enhance recovery. And our current recovery is between 10 and 12%. We hope to take those numbers into the 20-25% recovery from an oil-in-place volume of 4.7 billion barrels. So there is a lot to come.
There is a lot to come.
Yes.
And your proved reserves now are?
About 200 million, 180 million 2P basis.
2P basis.
3P basis is 300 million.
And your goal through these programs over the next 5 years?
The goal to the program is to get to that elusive 500-600 billion barrels of recoverable reserves on a 3P basis. And speaking of strategy, hopefully somebody would be interested in us as we grow our production and our reserves. We should become attractive for a larger fish to come and complete that development.
Well, I think that there's been a lot of interest in Eastern Europe. We've noticed some of the big companies looking at areas like this. We noticed ExxonMobil going into Hungary, Conoco recently going into Poland.
Correct.
Both on these development kind of projects, and we know that these companies are starting to look at these kind of fields,
Absolutely.
which is one of the reasons that why we started to look at Bankers Petroleum,
yes.
which again I mentioned to you off camera, one of our senior consultants who used to run Exxon's program considers one of the jewels of the discovery we've found so far.
We would be happy to talk to Exxon anytime.
I bet you would. Well, I'm especially happy you stopped by and talked to me today.
Yes.
It's a terrific story, and we're going to be following it very closely. So thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.
It's terrific.
Pleasure.